Welcome once again to another marketing strategy session. Today we are talking about marketing in a whole new way, and my guest will be JV Crum III. And JV Crum III has helped establish business owners and as well as coach building businesses into making big impact and big profits. He's the founder and the CEO of ConsciousMillionaires.com, and he's actually grown, coached, helped build masterminds and build businesses through his first Millionaire Academy. JV has been a columnist on the Huffington Post, and he's a best-selling author of Conscious Millionaires, Grow Your Business by Making a Difference. Welcome to the show, JV.
Hey, Jeff, so much happy to be here. And I'm really, if you're listening into this, we want to give you a lot of great value and some unique angles on marketing today. So I'm so glad that you're listening to this episode.
Great. And you have helped so many businesses by changing the way they think about doing business and think about marketing. That's the reason I wanted to have you on the show. You talk about conscious, and that is in your actual business name. And it is a consciousness that is driving good decisions when marketing. So we want to talk a little bit about mindset. Usually every other show talks about marketing techniques and things of that nature, but it starts with your mindset. You have a system that you talk about, and you even wrote about, which is the conscious focus action model. Can you give us a little bit of insight on that?
Sure. Well, where it came from is that I took over what was a basically bankrupt family company when I was 23. And I turned it around and made my first million by the time I was 25. And when I went to write my book, Conscious Millionaire, I looked back and I said, well, what was it that I was doing on a day-to-day basis that I should, so rapidly shift a business and help it grow? And then I help other business owners grow through my coaching. And what I realized is I was taking 3 steps. Now, these 3 steps, let's apply them to marketing, but I want to go over the 3 steps first.
Okay.
The 3 steps are conscious, focused action. So let's dive down into conscious, because really the conscious step is the most important. And when I speak, a lot of times I ask people, what do you think is most important, the conscious, the focused, or the action? Almost always they say, oh, it's the action that's most important. But it's not really action that drives your business. It's being conscious of where you're going and how you're going to get there and why you're making your decisions that's most important. So at the conscious stage, we're going to make 3 kinds of decisions. The first is, what is that number 1 priority that you want to achieve? Now, I like to break the year down into the 12 months, but have a clear understanding of what is the number 1 priority for your business 12 months out. And if we're talking about marketing, what is your number 1 marketing goal, the result that you want to achieve that will really be the linchpin, that if you achieve this, your business is going to move forward. The needle is moving forward. You're going to grow your business. You're going to have a bigger impact on your clients. You're going to attract more clients, and you're really going to, be achieving the kind of growth that you're looking for. So the first thing is to know where you want to be in 12 months. So let's start there. What is that number 1 priority? And then why is that most important? So I want to give you an exercise, because you need to whiteboard all this stuff. You need to get together with your team. That's what I do with a lot of clients. So let's say you start out and you narrow it down to, these are the 3 possible top priorities. And one of the things we have is, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as executives, is that we have no end of ideas about what we'd like to accomplish and what we want to do. And it doesn't matter what size your business is, they're always going to outstrip your capacity. And that's why you need to go through this kind of exercise. So list out what are the top 3 priorities that you could choose, and then look at what are the benefits that you'll get from each. How fast will each of these priorities help your business grow? And what are the downsides of going with this? Like, what are the possible risks that you could have from each of these? And then compare them to one another and make a decision from that perspective. Which one of these should be your number 1 priority? And why are you choosing? It's very critical to understand, why are you choosing this above and beyond any other priority you could choose? So once you've got that clear priority, Now, I want you to go ahead and break it down to 30-day goals. You can do quarterly goals, but I find that when you focus on each month, that you have one number one priority, and it's where you're going to put your focus. And that number one priority is going to move you towards that 12-month goal. And it is the number one priority for right now. In fact, I would not suggest when you start out that you're going to have, okay, this is my number one priority for month one. And now go ahead and choose my number one priority for month two, because you're going to grow so much and you're going to get so much information from the marketplace in that 30 days that you will be much better positioned to make that decision about month two when you're getting into the last week of month one. Now, once you have the what and the why, what you want to do is look at, well, who do I need to have help me achieve this? Now, the who might be your resources within your business, and it also might include some outside resources. It might include a coach. It might include people with specialized knowledge. And the third area is to look at, once you have that, what is the best route for me to accomplish this? And again, I love the power of three. Everything I do is in threes. So you might want to list out what are three different paths. So it could be that we're just focused on marketing this one product. That's where we really want to put our focus. Or it might be that there's a service that you want to put it on, or it might be R&D that you need to do. So you need to look at what's the best path, map out three different paths, compare them to one another, and choose one. Now you have the conscious part done. And you need to do this every month so that you're constantly reviewing where you're at. Now, once you have that, now you go to the focus stage.
Hold on. Let's go back 1 second with the conscious stage.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
At the very beginning, as you are building that consciousness and you're writing down the three different steps, would you place revenue goals around that? Now, the reason I ask that is a lot of times people will say, well, here's my goals. My goals may be I want to make X amount of dollars by this time. Or their goal can be purpose-based. Well, I want to, let's say, get in front of and influence X amount of people. You know, how do you look at that? Or do you bucket it? Or do you segment those as separate type goals?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So in my bigger model, and I was just wanting to break this down to make it simple today. In my bigger model, I talk about having three top goals for your business each year. And so one of the goals is going to be a revenue goal. So a revenue/profit goal, whichever financial metric you want to look at. One of those goals is, how do I better impact my clients? So that may be that you want to take an existing product and you want to go from product version 2.0 to product version 3.0. So that's about how am I making a positive impact. And I want to add here, because there are different levels of how you can positively impact. When you're looking at how do I transform, make a genuine transformation in my customer, either it's in their personal lives or it's in their business. When you go to transformation, and then the highest levels, when you go to, you're really going to help them get mastery of something. This is adding more value. And as a result, you can charge more for it because you're exchanging a higher level of value. So the third kind of goal that you want to have for your entire year, it depends on where you're at. So you need to look at your business and go, this year, what is it that we need to do that's going to make a massive difference? Now, I'm a systems guy. What I do is I help businesses install the right kinds of systems and map out exactly what we're doing right now. This is a system, conscious focused actions, a decision-making system. And you want to focus on your systems this year. Or you may want to focus on building deeper strategic partnerships this year. The thing is that if you only have three, then one's going to be financial, one's going to be how you enhance what you're providing to your customers, and the third one's always going to be an optional one that you're going to look at your business and say, what is it that I need to change this year that's going to have the biggest impact? What I find is that when a business, I don't care how large it is, tries to focus on more than three outcomes, they're going to hinder themselves. They're actually going to accomplish less, because the truth is, the more focused you are, the more laser focused you are on less goals, the more you're actually going to accomplish. So that was a great question, Jeff. Did that answer that for you?
Yes, it did. It did. Because I do know when it comes to goals, and depending on who you talk to, certain people have different ideas of goals. And a lot of companies look just at revenue goals. They don't even look past revenue. It's, I have a dollar amount and that's the goal. And I'm glad that you elaborated to show that there's more than just a revenue goal. It's bigger than that. So I'm glad you expand on that.
We're always looking at the conscious part is really about how can I enhance the quality of my customer? And then the millionaire part is how do I make a financial profit out of that? So how do I make a big impact with my customer? And by making a big impact with my customer, how do I enhance and create bigger profits? So you need to be focused on both, but I wanted to just keep this simple and take your audience through one level of this model so that you understand the model. Okay,
great. So we move on to, go ahead.
No, you're right. We're going to move on to focus.
We move on to focus. So now you set your 3 goals. You're working on a month-to-month goal, and now it's time to focus. So JV, how do we focus?
Well, the big mistake that most people make is they only say, okay, focus is a mental process, but that's not true. You need to focus in 3 ways. You need to focus with your mind. Now, how are you going to focus your mind? One of the best ways is the quality of the questions you ask. So if you have this specific result, and I want to be clear that the result needs to be measurable and you're going to accomplish it at a specific time. Otherwise, it's not really a goal. And so the best way to focus your mind is to ask yourself questions each day that relate to that result that you want, so that you're getting out your mind thinking about different ways that you can accomplish that, and that you're always just thinking on it. And I like the word obsessive in the positive sense. And I think that when we obsess in a positive sense about how are we going to accomplish something, and every day that month you should be focused on this. So this is a chunk of your day that you've got time put aside so that you're going to actually focus on how are you accomplishing this specific outcome. Then the second part is your heart. Now, the Heart Math Institute has found that the energy coming out of our heart is 5,000 times stronger than the brainwave energy from our minds. Now, so let's think about that for business. The way I like to think about it, if you've ever been in anything athletic, let's say you were in track and you were running a track event. The way that you really accomplish your best is you have your whole heart in it. Now, that's really what I'm saying. It's about commitment, because your heart is about passion. It's about commitment. It's about being completely all in. And that's what you and your team need to be, that you're all in, because when you're all in, the level of accomplishment is going to be so much higher. I coach a lot of people, and I tell you, I'd rather have somebody with just average talent who was all in than somebody with great talent, but they weren't fully committed. Because the person who's committed, and we've seen this in athletics a lot, that someone may not have the same skill level as somebody else, but they were determined and they won. Especially you look at the Olympics. The person who's going to win the Olympics a lot of times is the person who's all in, because they're going to be the ones who get there. And then the third part is the physical part. Now, there are different aspects to this. As business people, if we want to achieve at our highest, we've got to be in shape. We've got to go to the gym. We've got to eat some healthy food. This really makes a difference in our body's ability to accomplish our goals. And our body has to be in a state of readiness, that we're ready to take action just like that. So the focus part is threefold: your mind, your heart, you're all in, and your body, so you're ready to move forward. And then, and only then, do you look at your actions. Now, before we ever delve into actions, I want to point out what's so different about this system that you're going to use for your marketing is that a lot of people wake up in the morning, And what they have is a list, but that's all they have. And on that list, you're going to be going in multiple directions. This is one of the most inefficient ways to run a business. And I'm going to show you why.
Okay.
You only want to choose your actions at this third level where you get to the point that you're already conscious of what you want. You're conscious of the resources you need. You're conscious of how you're going to get there. Your mind, your heart, your body are fully committed. And now you're going to choose only those actions that are going to most efficiently and effectively allow you to get to that result. So only those that are necessary, no others. And I've worked with a lot of clients where at this stage, we've gotten rid of 80% of what they had planned to do. Because while a lot of the actions might bring some benefit, when you get this laser focus, the first step is I want you to list out for the month, what are all the actions that you will need to take? And I love whiteboards. In my personal office, I have a 4 by 12 foot whiteboard. So I'm listing out things all the time. But you need to list those out, and you ought to get your team together and everybody brainstorms, you list them out. That's the first step. Now here's the second step. And then the first step, I just want you to get all the actions out there you can think of. What is really going to be necessary to get this? Because this is going to help you, this is going to be really valuable, because then in the second step, what I want you to do is to take and put them in the correct order. What needs to happen first, what needs to happen second, what needs to happen third. And I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to find when you do that, that you've missed some steps. Because you might get to step 5 and you go, oh, well, this is the next step that we have that goes after it, but it looks like some things have to be accomplished before we get to what we thought was step 7. So that might be really step 9, and we need some 7 and 8 to be added. Here's what happens. When we are so attuned to what we're doing, and we've done it so many times, in the back of our mind, we're going to have some of those actions that we forget to put out on paper or on the whiteboard. And since many people are going to be involved in achieving this outcome, everybody needs to know what all the actions are. And so we discover that by putting them in the right order. And then the third step is you need to take each one of those actions and ask this question. Is there anything that needs to occur before I can take this action? Now, there are 2 ways that could occur. One is something internally needs to occur. So you need something from another department, let's say. Or it could be external, that there's something that you're needing. And an external, most obvious thing would be, let's say that you're doing a marketing campaign that's related to a date. Let's say it's Christmas. Well, we've got to get to the holiday season before you start selling and marketing. So there's a date that would be external. Or there might be something that you need from another company that they're going to provide you. And so you need to make sure that they've been notified and that you've placed that order and that you're all on the same page early enough that you're certain you're going to be getting that, so that you can be constantly moving forward and you're not waiting for something. And this exercise alone can just save you a ton of money, because now you know exactly what you need to be focused on. Nobody's doing anything that's irrelevant. Everybody's focused on the same set of actions in the same order. And you've already mapped out, and that's why this is a great marketing system. You've already mapped out anything that you need internally or externally, and now you need to notify them, so you can put dates on when you need to notify them and hard dates in which you must receive that piece so that you can move forward with that action step. And then now you have your plan for the month. And what I like to do is now break it down to weeks. So now you've done your first week. And at the end of that week, on Friday, you're going to evaluate where you are. And you're going to be in one of 3 places. You're either going to be on target, you're exactly where you want to be. You're going to be behind target, in which case now you need to adjust the next week. Or you're going to be ahead of target, in which case you may be able to move up what you plan to accomplish by, let's say, 5 p.m. the following Friday. And if you follow this system, this is a very effective marketing system, you will accomplish so much more than you've ever accomplished before. I have another system we're not going to have time for today about how you approach each day, but I've had clients that were very productive who have told me that they've gotten 2, 3, and 4 times more work done in a given week by following this type of system. I wish we had time for that, but there's a whole nother system that I teach that's about how you approach your day to maximize your results every day. And it gets rid of all the extraneous actions you're taking that honestly are not going to move the needle forward. And if you want to build your business, you just need to be focused on moving the needle forward and getting rid of all those other things that really aren't necessary.
Now, you just open up so many questions, so many things. But the one thing I want to focus on is the point that you made of how you approach the task, how you approach the action part of it. And you take a step that's different than what most people do. Most people have a list of to-do things in the morning. And then they say, well, out of these to-do things, I'll focus on maybe the top 4 or 5 things. And then out of that, this is the result hopefully I can get from that. So it's sort of in reverse. It's sort of, I've got all these things to do. Now let's see what I can focus on. And now let's see how this is going to be something that I can benefit from, versus saying, this is the consciousness. This is what the end goal. Here is what we look to focus on. Let's get on page with this. This is where our focus is. And out of that focus, here's a list of things we need to do to actually align ourselves with what we're trying to accomplish.
And you can see how that's much
backwards. Yes.
Yeah, I think that most companies are wasting a lot of time, money, and energy the way they're doing things. And that's why I look just at the systems, because the efficiency of your system is going to determine how effectively you're going to achieve your goals.
Yeah. Now, how do you get everybody on board? I mean, now with entrepreneur, a small team, that's not as difficult. Maybe it is, I'm not sure. But when you have executives, you have different departments, you have different team members, do you say, this is our vision, so we've done the consciousness part, you just need to do the focus? Well, the focus part, I would say that
people together, you're going to get agreement on what this list is, and then you're going to divide up the list, and different people are going to be working on different parts of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So within it, go ahead.
Oh, but in the focus part, getting everybody in it. Now, the head, the heart, the body. I've seen some companies do that very well, and I would love to get your take on it. I've seen companies that have, for instance, Turner has a gym at Turner that you can go work out. So they help you with that exercise point. They try to get you engulfed into the culture of the business, to get you emotionally tied in, which can help with the heart piece. I know everybody doesn't come to work with the same passion as those that are driving the company, they educate you on different aspects of the company, which helps you with that mental part. They have different programs and coaching and so forth. But how does an organization that's not a one-man show, I guess you would say, how do they get their team focused the right way and in line with what they're trying to do?
Well, we're just talking about the marketing, so we're only going to be talking about the marketing part of the business. You've got to get everybody on task because you brought them all together and everybody got agreement. What I find is the best way to get agreement is to get participation. So if you go out and let's say only 2 people in the marketing department, but you have 10, if 2 people were to go through this exercise and then they presented it to everybody like, this is what we're going to do, you have 0 buy-in, actually. But if you take the time to get everybody involved and contributing, now you have 100% buy-in because they were part of the process. And not only do you have buy-in, but you've got a better process coming out of this. Because if you have 10 people, I don't care what their positions are, forget about positions. When I've run my own companies and I've had mid-sized companies where I've had 50, 60 people working for me, the rules were everybody knew I owned the company. Everybody knew I was the president. We forgot that when we go into this kind of a room. Everybody has equal status in that room. everybody's voice has equal value, because every person that you have in your company is going to have a unique view. And if you don't really believe that, why do you have them working for you? If you just think that people are machines and you put them in little pieces of the company, first of all, I think you've got the wrong culture. So if you really value everybody who works with you, bring them into the process. This is a once a month process. They're going to have so much buy-in, and also you're going to get ideas that you wouldn't have had before, because everybody has a perspective on this. And when you bring all those out, you're going to have so much a better plan, and everybody goes, oh yeah, now I see where we're going, and they understand why this week we're focused on these things.
So what you're saying is participation versus delegation.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
if you you really need to participate. Now I'm going to throw one out there, and the kind of companies that I work with are more conscious. They want to build something that's going to make a difference in the world, and they realize that we as human beings need to be fulfilled in this process. So one of the techniques that I teach, and it's one of the most popular things that I do, is I have a very unique visualization process that is based on this conscious focused action model. Now, again, we don't have time to go through that today, but if you had everybody come together and spend 5 to 7 minutes going through this visualization process that ends with taking 3 actions while you're still in that state. It's really about shifting your state, the way that I look at visualization. A lot of people look at visualization as it's something about something out there that you hope to achieve. I have a visualization process where you take what's out there, you bring it inside of yourself, and then you begin to take action. And I've had CEOs that I've trained in this, and then they went back and they trained their whole group, and they found that just spending that 5 to 7 minutes at the beginning of, say, an hour meeting with their team made a tremendous difference, because it gets everybody on the same page, and it gets everybody internally realizing that we can together achieve this and connected to one another, because you want your team to be connected. The old days of everybody's in their little cubicle box. Even if somebody is working in a cubicle, you can't have them thinking cubicle anymore. You've got to think organically interconnected, but you need to be interconnected in this laser-focused way where you're consciously focusing on the same actions and the same result. And there's another part. There are 2 more parts to this system, and I'd like to actually get them out there real quickly, just to kind of whet your appetite about what's possible. So when you're looking at the result and you go to review, what did we accomplish? Let's say it's Friday, and you're looking at your Friday 5 p.m. goal. When you look at that result, there are going to be 3 different pieces you want to look at. How well did we accomplish the specific result we had for 5 p.m. this week? Then you want to, what were the benefits that we got that were unexpected? Because a lot of times you're focused on a specific result, but some other things kind of synergistically happen. You go, wow, this is really great that this also happened. But guess what? There's another side to that pendulum, and there can be some unexpected negative side effects of how you designed your result. And so you need to be aware of those as well, because you need to course correct, because now you want to look at the design you have and the system that you're using for your marketing and go, yeah, but we're also losing some customers because we're pushing them away with the marketing that we're doing, and they're the customers that we want. So maybe we need to make some kind of an adjustment that lets them know that, yes, we are here for them. And then that's the 4th stage, that's the result stage. And then there's a learning stage. So think of this as a pyramid that you're moving up, and the highest stage is learning. So at the learning level, you want to look at everything you did at the 3 parts of the conscious, the focus, and the action level. And you want to ask yourself, what worked, what didn't work, and what needs to change. So that next week when you go through this, you've learned from this week, and you can make even better decisions about how you put everything into action in the second week. So you're constantly learning as an organization and as a marketing team, and moving forward together, and because you're all participating in the decision process and putting in your ideas, you get buy-in. Now, this is a much more powerful way of approaching your marketing than most people do.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. And I know that you have so much more. We just kind of scratched the surface of it. But you actually have a book out that talks about this in a little more detail. Share us a little bit about how you came up with the book. I know you mentioned that as your journey, you documented it, some of your successes and some of your challenges, and wrote the book. But what should we expect in the book?
Sure, absolutely. It's 320 pages. It's 14 chapters, and it really covers everything that you need to build and grow a business from a conscious perspective. And from a conscious, I mean, being aware of what you're doing, being concerned about the positive impact it's going to have on your clients, and also being concerned about how is this going to help us have a better world, a better society, because you're putting your products and services out there. And then it's designed so that every chapter has coaching, because I believe that I read so many business books, and at the end, I have some good ideas, but I don't have implementation. So I wanted the book to give you ways to implement everything that I'm teaching you from one chapter to the next chapter. And the second chapter is on what we've been discussing, goes into much more detail. And then I have 14 different ways of looking at this particular model, depending on what you're doing with your business. So I would love to give you that book absolutely free. It's been downloaded over 50,000 times from Amazon, and it was the #1 book on Amazon. It became #1 in 34 categories at the same time, including multiple countries. So this is really your handbook for how to consciously look at your business and build and grow it. So you can get that absolutely free at consciousmillionaire.com/free book. That's just one word, free book. consciousmillionaire.com/free book. And I do coaching, VIP, individual and team coaching. And if you'd like to learn more about coaching, just go to consciousmillionairecoaching.com. And the kind of companies that I like to work with are ones that they want to make a big positive impact. And I get very excited when people want to grow at a particularly fast rate. So it's about how fast do you want to grow and scale your business, and helping you put in the systems that you need and looking at your business from a different way, just like we were doing today, so that you can grow your business quickly. And that's what really excites me, is working with teams and individuals, VIPs, that want to grow their business. And through growing their business, they want to make a positive impact with their customers and our world.
Okay, perfect. Well, everybody, I think that if you're looking to grow rapidly, JV has a lot to offer, and it's a very good way of looking at doing business versus the cold way of dollars and cents, and individuals are just numbers within your database. I think this conscious way is definitely a great approach, and it builds so much more than just revenue. So JV, I appreciate all the information that you've given, and I look forward to learning more. I mean, I'm going to download the book myself. I look forward to learning more. I look forward to getting everyone's questions on social. If you have any questions in regards to it, feel free to reach out on social and ask the question, or go to the website, go to actually consciousmillionaires.com, consciousmillionaire.com, and reach out, ask questions, get help. Like you stated earlier on, it is a team effort. So get the help you need. I definitely implore you to do that. So JV, thanks so much for being on the show. Thanks for all the insights that you brought.
Well, Jeff, it was my honor, and thank you so much for having me.
Great. Everyone, once again, this is a marketing strategy session. I hope you learned as much as I did, if not more. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next show.